Okay, remember, you are the prototype. You're the first. Okay, and that's why we're making a big deal out of it. First of all, go back and thank your principal, because for you to have transportation over here is a really big deal. Okay, so that's number one. And then number two, make sure you thank anyone who's associated with your school, because when we met with them, they were all ready to do whatever it took for you all to be successful in this program.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John Girton, aka Pastor G. It's a pleasure to be with each one of you today on a wonderful Friday. It is a great day today, good weather. It's a good day to really connect and do some wonderful work for Martin University. Y'all know that's what we are all about here at Martin University, is doing great work. So today we have a wonderful guest who is going to be sharing important information with all of us today. She's a good friend, so I hope we can stay on the business tip instead of getting all personal and getting all up into checking on each other and all that good stuff. But she's such a great friend of ours, and she's just such a great friend of the work that we do at Martin University. I'm just excited to have her on. Now, just know that Let's Talk Live here at Martin University is all about sharing great information that is going on in and through our community. So Martin University is not just about education in terms of getting degrees, 4-year degrees and things like that. We're also what's called a communiversity. And that means that we are just as involved in our community as we are in our everyday work educating students. Okay? So I want to welcome to the stage and have our producer bring up our guest today. There she is, Miss Natasha Cheatham. I don't know
Hey.
what she's looking at, but hey. All right, wonderful. Y'all gonna have to excuse the technical piece right now because I am coming in from my second device today. Sister Cheatham, you know technology can do what technology wants to do. So
All the time.
we're gonna just keep things moving and have a good time today talking to you. Again, first of all, welcome to Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu. How are you?
Thanks for having me. To be honest, I am not feeling my best, but I am good overall.
I know just a little bit about not feeling your best today. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, as one of the things I love about you is that you don't look like what you're going through, and that is so indicative of the work that you do in the community. Am I missing it?
No, you're right on the mark. My grandpa is the one who taught me that. He said, no matter how you feel, look better.
Right. I totally get that. And again, I mean, you are the epitome of getting it done, even in the midst of what you're going through. You still keep pushing. And so, with that, take a minute to introduce people to who you are. Initially, I want to talk. I really want to talk initially about your the organization you founded, I believe,
Yes.
MRC. Okay, so introduce yourself and then get
Sure
into
thing.
that, and then we'll get into the entrepreneurial piece once you share a little bit more about the MRC.
Absolutely. Hello everyone. My name is Natasha Cheatham. I am the founder and president of Minority Recovery Collective, Inc. We also go by Mercy. You'll often see us use the acronym MRCI. So, that is an organization that I founded to provide peer based mental health and addiction recovery support services for Black and Brown folks. Really just stemming from my own personal journey. Being a caretaker of my mother who struggled with mental illness and addiction, and then having my own battles with those things, I really just wanted to create something that would allow us to have a legacy greater, honestly, than the life we were living at that time. And so here we are, year 3 of Mercy, um, going strong. My business partner and co founder is now the executive director, Aisha Wesley. And we are moving and grooving. Always in need of volunteers. I'm put that shameless plug out there. But we absolutely love to create spaces where people can just be. We realized very quickly that the way we deliver our services in regards to mental health and recovery, it wasn't resonating with Black people. It wasn't resonating in the communities that we served. And so we decided to take a very unique approach, a different approach, a for the people approach, if you will, in providing our services. So we do pop ups with our experience called the Rest Stop, and that is where we create a space of rest and relaxation. We have coloring books and paint and books, and really just a lot of soft things, blankets, pillows, all of that good stuff, so that you can just sit down, take a moment, and relax, no matter what type of event that may be going on. So that's the most about Mercy, at least the quick bit I'll give. Do you have any questions?
I do. I do. I got all kind of questions for you. First things first is from a demographic perspective.
Mhm.
What demographic population do you see Mercy really gravitating to, or which demographic is gravitating to you?
Sure thing. So we definitely gear our services towards and tend to attract predominantly youth and young adults between the ages of about 12 and 24. We see a lot of 30 somethings and millennials as well. They're either their parents, or their cousins, aunts, uncles, and all of them. I would definitely say millennials and Gen Z are who we tend to gravitate towards and gear our services to.
Gotcha. So now I think we all know the sort of the generational dysfunction that culturally we deal with in our community as it relates to mental health, trauma, and all the things that are wrapped around that.
Yeah.
How do you see the work that you do being impacted by, I'm assuming, a shift in the recognition that this is a real challenge? How do you see that? And obviously, I think you can feel this is a guided question because
Sure.
generationally, my grandmother, my great grandmother, my grandfather, this is not something that they would be willing to talk about. And yet you're saying you're seeing Gen X, Gen Z come out and say that. So what's going on there that has caused this shift from your perspective?
I honestly think a lot of it had to do with COVID-19 and the pandemic. 2020 showed us a different way of living. It showed us a way of living that was still, that was quiet, that was slower than what we have been used to, for many generations. And so now we are seeing that even after that, people are like, as everything is, trying to go back to normal, we are seeing the Gen X, the Gen Z, millennials say, hey, that honestly doesn't work. And I
Mm-hmm.
really need to prioritize myself. I need to prioritize my mental well-being, my overall health, and wellness. And that I think has been the biggest driver, is just realizing that we don't have to hustle and bustle, and solely survive. We saw that with COVID-19, and I believe people are really just trying to figure out, how do I live differently while everything is trying to go back to what is quote unquote normal?
Hmm. Do you feel a sense that the level of support around this topic is there, or do you still feel as though people think that black folk are strong and they'll get over it?
I think that the support is improving, but I definitely still think
Hmm.
that the predominant feeling is that you got it and we'll push through.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to take? I mean, I get that you're there, that you're
Yeah.
providing these services, but what do you really think is going to take for our community to sort of grow out of this space that we're in, where that is just not a front row or front seat issue for us?
I believe it's going to take being able to be fully submerged in places and communities that are focused on wellness.
Hmm.
That doesn't fully exist at this time. I mean, I know
Hmm.
that our organization is working along with other organizations to collectively come together, and see
Hmm.
if we can't change that. If we had more spaces that were dedicated to wellness, to mental health, Honestly, to just being. There aren't enough places for people to sit down and take a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a strong believer that if there were more spaces where people could just pause
Mm-hmm.
before they spaz
Mm-hmm.
out, before they shoot that person, before they go rob that, whatever it is, if they could take a moment to truly pause and not necessarily be bombarded with, well, are you going to
Mm-hmm.
buy something? Or, well, let's do this
Mm-hmm.
intake and then you can get connected to
Yeah.
services. Or, well, why don't you join my church first and pay your tithes? And then, you know,
Yeah.
people don't need to always be bombarded with those things. Sometimes we just need to be destimulated so that we can actually breathe, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of what we see in our community in terms of violence and chaos and just in general, honestly, I genuinely believe comes from being overstimulated and responding to that overstimulation. A lot of people, drink wine and they're trying to wind
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Even though alcohol is a downer, it's still stimulating your body because now your body has to process that and all of that good stuff. So it's not necessarily relaxing you. We don't relax enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's totally real, and there's research
Yeah.
that shows simple things like counting to 10,
Yeah.
and putting space in between what happened and your response, right?
Yep.
I asked that very same question when I did a session in the Juvenile Justice Center. I said, what would have happened? Would you be in here had you just stopped for a moment and counted to 10 before you reacted to what was going on around you? And I had hands going up all over the room saying, yeah, I wouldn't be here right now had I just stopped in that moment and just simply counted to 10 before I reacted to what was going on around me. So there's research that
Exactly.
proves that space between, those two areas of your brain, which is kind of like the fire alarm in your brain and the react brain, right? There's the fire alarm that
Yeah.
goes off, and then there's that space where you have to think about, like, okay, the alarm just went off. What do I do next? And
Yeah.
we don't put enough space in there. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. We're also not necessarily taught that. We're not necessarily taught to take that moment. We're taught to turn the other cheek. We're taught to be the bigger person. We're taught to walk away. And even in that, we're not necessarily taught why to walk away or why to pause. And a lot of times I am noticing, especially working with young people, if they can't ask why, it's not going to resonate. If they don't understand why, it's not going to resonate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really being able to show and teach people how to pause, how to
Mm-hmm.
relax, how to
Correct.
rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what I believe it will take, and having more spaces um, that are dedicated to that.
Now I want to really get back to you, because
Mhm.
this is not just, some people do things because they went to school for it, and other people
Yeah,
do things because they've always dreamed of doing it. But I think your purpose in this seems to be in some pain. I'm just throwing that out for free.
oh yeah,
But before we get to that, I do want to get drill down a little deeper in this piece, and that is, you and I both know that when a person starts to sort of cater their behavior in a certain way, it does rewire the brain,
yeah,
right? Over time, that level of behavior becomes something that your brain doesn't know how to process it any other way. It's kind of like downers or uppers on steroids, right?
hmm
I just said a lot when I said that. So my point in that is like, what level of patience does it really take to help someone move beyond where they are when they've been conditioned to strike out? They've been
yeah,
conditioned to, argue, or to, you feel what I'm saying? It must take a
absolutely,
tremendous amount of patience to kind of work with someone who've been conditioned based on their environment, their culture, their surroundings, all of that, that this is just how we do it in my house. We're
yeah.
stressed all the time. This is just what we've accepted. How do you get the patience to work someone through all of that?
I honestly developed the patience caretaking for my mom growing up.
Mm.
I started being her caretaker about the age of 10. Um,
Wow.
and so it was make sure mom takes her medicine. We got to prick her
Mm-hmm.
finger and check her blood sugar. We have to do all
Mm-hmm.
of these things. And then I also have to make sure I get myself to school and do my
Mm-hmm.
homework and all of that. So that started about the age of 10. So the patience started with myself and at home. I didn't always have it, to be perfectly
Right.
honest. I don't think I genuinely developed patience until I really got serious about my own journey and my own healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was then that I just had so much patience and grace with myself, just coming to understand all the learned behaviors, all the traumas and triggers, and all of those things, and wanting to be better. And trying to be better, and still, failing in my eyes, still messing up, and all of those
Mm-hmm.
different things. That's honestly what taught me the patience to be able to work with others.
Wow. Wow. And I'm assuming you would agree that before somebody decides to walk in these shoes or take this journey, that understanding that everybody that calls or reaches out or sends a text message or emails may say that they're ready, but they're
Oh yeah.
still having to work through some things.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people say that they're ready, and want to change, want to quit, or partake less, whatever their thing may
Mm-hmm.
be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it isn't until they're tired. There's
Or
a
being sick and
difference.
tired.
I've noticed. Yeah, you got to be tired. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's not
Yeah.
necessarily the rock bottom that most people talk about in recovery, and just hitting your lowest point. It's honestly the tired. It's the
Mm-hmm.
this just isn't working. This doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense. I'm not getting anywhere. It's just this
Mm-hmm.
kind of epiphany aha moment of, you know what? I gotta be different and do different if I'm
Yeah.
going to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay, I still want because you're tap dancing all over your why. Your why. You're tap dancing all over your why. But I do want to ask this question. When I was looking on the
Sure.
website, you use this word, and I don't know if this is your mission statement, your vision, I don't know what, or just description, but you use this word indigenous. Was
Mhm.
there a reason why you were committed to that phraseology?
Absolutely. So we definitely are sure to say Black, Indigenous, and people of color in most
Hmm.
spaces that we operate out of. We do our best not to actually say BIPOC. We do our best to affirm and acknowledge all the folks that we aim to serve with what we do. The reason being is because I realize that there are some people who look like me who do not identify as Black, who do not identify as African American, Native, or anything of the sort. They identify as Indigenous. I met them, and that is what they wanted to be referred to.
Hmm.
And that opened up my eyes to just really see how vast our culture is. That people that look like you and I, um, even if they were born and bred in America, where they are in their journey today may have them identifying in a different way. And
Hmm.
so we just wanted to make sure that we were able to, reach and honestly call out to those who we feel would best benefit from our services. The other piece of it was we really, really, really want to and have to some degree and plan to do so even more is to connect with native cultures, indigenous
Hmm.
cultures, not only here in Indiana, but we've also been able to reach outside of the state. And
Hmm.
so we've connected with folks in Hawaii, California, uh, DC,
Right.
Georgia. I mean, we've definitely been able to connect with folks all over the country
Hmm.
since the pandemic. The virtual space allows us to do that.
Hmm.
And so we just wanted to make sure that we were inclusive.
And I asked that for very selfish reasons. After spending time on the Hopi and on the Navajo reservation down in Arizona, to recognize that they have some significant and very similar challenges and issues, even though theirs may be rooted in this very rural, very open, these very open spaces. They too have similar challenges and issues that African Americans, people of color, and others have. And I just thought I thought it was interesting that you included them because they don't always get included.
Very much
And I
so.
thought,
And I mean,
look at that.
we've definitely been asked, like, well, why do you say black and brown folks? Why can't it just be black people? And
Right,
it's
right, right.
like, don't get me wrong, I'm a black woman. I'm going to lead with my blackness. I am going to speak and
Hmm.
cater to and gear most of my things to the black community, but I cannot deny that indigenous people, Hispanic people, or Latinx people
Hmm.
have very similar struggles as we do and could benefit from culturally curated services such as we have.
Wonderful. So let's shift a little bit because I think in your story or in your why, I believe it also kind of points to this entrepreneurial piece that you're doing, which you've
Hmm.
already talked about the fact that you feel as though there just aren't enough spaces, right? There's
Right.
not enough places where people can pause, and I want to talk about that. But share more so how that became such an important mantra for you to provide this level and this kind of service to the community.
Absolutely. So my journey started, like I said, um, becoming my mom's caretaker at 10. Um,
Hmm.
at 16, my boyfriend at the time was shot and killed.
Mm.
And I also experienced some other traumatic things around that time that led me to seek solace in pills and alcohol.
Hmm.
Um, that lasted for 10 years. And in that 10 years, I'm also still trying to caretake for my mom and
Hmm.
be somewhat my best self.
Hmm.
In school, still keeping a steady job, all of those different things. But I wasn't living, I was barely
Hmm.
surviving. Um,
Hmm.
and like I said, I finally got tired enough. I'm not that old. I haven't lived as long as I would like to, excuse me. And hope I have a lot more left. But in my 32 years thus far, I've experienced so much trauma and pain that really just forced me to sit down and
Hmm.
say, how do I how do I overcome this? How do I not
Hmm.
repeat this cycle?
Hmm.
How do I help others?
Hmm.
Um, and I went back to church because I thought that was the answer. And honestly, it helped me to find my purpose. I realized that what I needed did not exist. What my mom needed and wanted did not exist. And I
Hmm.
said, well, either I can create it or just keep looking until I find it. And
Hmm.
so I decided to create it.
Hmm.
And it started as just hosting sober social spaces. And so that was
Hmm.
just my way of hosting, like game nights and things of that nature so that I could bridge my two worlds of recovery and the folks, that have been my support system and wanting to bridge them together because oftentimes it was just always siloed, always
Hmm.
separate. Um, and that led me to really start understanding that we must have wellness and recovery integrated into our community. It
Hmm.
can't just be the one off thing, it can't just be a service. It honestly is a lifestyle. And so that's really what pushed me to create Mercy, and then also go into my entrepreneurial journey with Intimate Oasis. I really just
Hmm.
wanted to create retreats for people. I wanted to be able to create spaces where no matter what, you feel cared for, you feel catered to, and you
Hmm.
feel
Hmm.
relaxed. That's
Hmm.
really it.
Yeah. So is this something that you said? Is this what you got from your grandfather, or is it like where did this? Because understand everybody does not create what they need when they need it. Everybody doesn't do that. Some
Gotcha.
people settle, right? If it's
Yeah.
not there, they settle. But you took it the next step. Where did that come from in you?
Honestly, I think it comes from just being an only child of an only child and having to do that most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that. I get that. Now I just hope that everybody that's a creator doesn't have to be an only child to do that, right? You
Right.
recognize that, but I mean, it's such an important. I'm not gonna say it's an important skill, but an important attribute that not only did you feel a need to heal, you said, "Let me take some folk
Oh,
with me."
excuse me.
hmm Let's make sure she's okay. So while she's doing what she's doing, I do want to make mention that at Martin University, we have homecoming that is coming up in the month of October. So I want you all to put that down, write that down, do whatever you got to do to make sure that you are in the house for all of our homecoming activities that start October the 16th. At Martin University, we've got everything from the Access Fair going on Saturday the 22nd. We got Martin Sunday that's going to go on October the 23rd throughout the city of Indianapolis. We have the First Ladies Tea that's going to be taking place. So make sure that you write that down, put that on your calendar because our homecoming is about to go down. The other thing I'm going to tell you that we're so excited about is that Martin is also getting our bookstore back up and running. So that means that our Martin University merchandise is about to be available to any and everybody that wants to show off, like I'm showing off right now. Y'all see the logo right here? Yeah, yeah. So now you don't have to ask me, where did I get this shirt? You can go to our store on our website and you can begin the process of ordering your own merchandise from Martin University. So we are so excited about those things that are coming up. In addition to that, I want to remind everyone that our next B session is coming up October the 18th. Okay, so you've also got to get ready. If you have not enrolled at Martin University, if you want to finish that bachelor's degree, if you just graduated from Ivy Tech and you want to go from that two year to that 4-year degree, even if you feel like you can't afford it and whatnot, you've got to give Martin University a call because we've got some great opportunities and we've got some great programs that are already set up. All we got to do is get you to pick up the phone and give us a call. You can stop by our office, 2186 North Sherman Drive. Walk right in. Someone will pick you up at the front desk, take you back, sit down, and explain everything that we've got going on at Martin University. So we are so excited to get you started. So let's see if Sister Cheatham is back. Is she ready? Is she ready? Is she back? Let's see if she's
I am.
ready. Let's see if she's ready. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Sorry about that.
That's all right. No, it's Let's Talk Live, and so things happen live, right? Things happen live. Uh,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
yeah. So all I was saying earlier was that the attribute that you have of being able to say I need help, but guess what? I don't want, it's not just about me. I want to take some people with me, right? So I'm going to blow a hole through a wall. I'm going to walk through it myself, but then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to invite other people to walk through that door as well. Do
Yeah.
you feel as though, even again, as an attribute, that people are watching what you're doing and looking at it
Oh,
like, wow, I can do it too?
honestly, I do. I hear that from my mentees every so often. They look at me and they're like, I mean, I had one, I had one of them tell me literally, "You let me know that God is real," and I was like, "What?"
Mm.
I was like,
That's
"Me?"
good. That's good. Yeah.
I was like, "What?" And she
But
was like,
and
"I
then
mean, just
go ahead.
she's like, just for you to have gone through all that you've gone through, and
hmm
you start this organization and you mentor us and all of these different things." She was just like, "I just believe that that's nothing but God." She was like, "And I think that that's amazing." And so I definitely know that people are watching me, um and being inspired, watching me,
Yeah.
and being motivated to, start their own journey, whether that's of
hmm
recovery, wellness, entrepreneurship, however. I
hmm
can honestly say I get that from my great grandpa, Smith Cheatham. He was very much an advocate here in Indianapolis. He helped bring the first YMCA here.
Wow.
and some other things. Yeah, like ended up finding old news clippings about him, and so it definitely finally clicked and made sense as to where I got it from in my adulthood.
Hmm.
'Cause I didn't know any of that growing up. I knew that
Yeah.
my great grandfather was active like with his church and some other things, but I didn't know the extent of his servant leadership, to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest. But yeah,
Yeah. So now, okay, so I've got to give you an opportunity to do a commercial about the things that you need for the organization, and do a commercial about the organization where you're doing all these retreats and things like that. So, but before you do that, I do want to applaud you for the creativity. I mean, some of the events and
thank
activities that you're doing are just so out of the box. They're creative, they're funky, they sound fun. You know,
thank
is
you.
that was that like a mantra of yours as well, to make sure not only that you did things, but you did them out of the box, a little different, a little
Yeah.
fun, a little, with some infusion of some other things. You got spoken word, you got
Oh
libation, you got
yeah.
all kind of stuff going on. Where did that, what is that about? What is that?
That honestly came from the notion of, if we were as committed to our wellness as we are to being entertained,
Hmm.
we would be
Okay.
much further.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, I said, well, if people don't want to go to therapy, people don't want to come and talk to me as a recovery coach, people don't want to go to the group,
Hmm.
hi, my name is such and such, and people don't want to
Hmm.
do all that. They are not interested in
Hmm.
that, but they like open mics. They like
They'd be
live
like,
music. Right, they like live music. They like being able to, paint and sip or whatever the case may be. And so for me, I said, why don't we host spaces where we're doing things that, we know will bring people out or people may be interested in. And then we
right.
just, we interweave our actual services into that. So a lot
Yeah.
of the times our conversations and all of that, that's our programming. It just
Hmm.
doesn't feel like it. And that
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of the work that I do. My work does not feel like work, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, somebody said once, and I use this often, that the best education is when you're being educated when you don't know you're being educated, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. The
Oh
best
yeah.
lesson you learn is the lesson you learned when you didn't know you was learning a lesson, right? So
Absolutely.
I
I
love that
definitely
about what
believe
you're
in
doing.
edutainment.
Yeah, yeah. So now let's do the commercial. What is it that Mercy needs, and then talk a little bit about what else you got going on with your entrepreneur pursuits.
Absolutely. So, as at this time, Mercy is very much in need of three things: space, funding, and people. Okay? We need the funding to acquire the space and pay the people. We
Gotcha.
need the people to do the work, whether that's volunteering, facilitating our programs, helping us execute all the things. And then lastly, we need dedicated space. Like I said, people need to be able to fully submerge in what we have to offer in order for it to finally start clicking that this is a lifestyle change and not
Hmm.
just an event, not just an
Hmm.
occasion, not just
Right.
something that we do in this moment.
Gotcha.
And so that is really what we need. We are definitely in need of funding, and I can't say that
Hmm.
enough for
Okay.
the other two things that I said: funding, and funding.
Okay. All right.
Unrestricted funding is
Right.
definitely the go-to, but we will definitely take programmatic dollars. We'll take what we can get, absolutely. Outside of that, we really just want people to show up. Join our
Hmm.
spaces. A lot of
Hmm.
times people were like, I'm not sure what it was, so I didn't come. But now I see the video or the pictures and I
Hmm.
should have been there. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, you should
Yeah.
have. So make sure
Yeah.
you come next time. So that's a big one, getting people to step out of their comfort zone.
Hmm.
If if they think that it is a sober event or that it is focused on recovery,
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
lot of people are not wanting to come out. But if I say
Hmm.
wellness, if
Hmm.
I say, well, let's just do a community check in, we just want to check in with each other and
Hmm.
make sure we all right.
Mm-hmm.
When I start putting it that way, people are definitely starting to say, "Oh, okay, I see what you're doing now." And so
Right.
we now just need to get to that point of people really connecting with us.
Mm-hmm.
We I can say we've seen an uptick in people calling us for more one-on-one services, and
Mm-hmm.
so that is very much appreciated. We do have that to offer, but again, that's limited capacity without funding and people. So
Right.
space, funding, and people, that's the big three. And then with
Gotcha.
the entrepreneurship endeavors, um, with Intimate Oasis, the biggest thing I can say there is be on the lookout. There are a lot of pop
Mm-hmm.
up style events that I'll be doing with that. And I'm going to be honest, that's all luxury. If you want to, save your pockets and, you're on a budget, I understand. That's honestly why I did the nonprofit first. I wanted to offer people what I wanted to offer them um,
Mm-hmm.
at the community based level, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say that people who may be on a budget or may be low income or whatever the case may be don't deserve luxury wellness or luxury experiences. Everything that I do is luxuries. There's those levels to that. And so
Mm-hmm.
where most things are sponsored with Mercy, so they're at no cost to those who attend, everything is going to cost you at Intimate Oasis. That's literally the balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, what I would love to say in this moment is follow us on social channels, visit our website for updates. Make sure you subscribe to both of those newsletters. Mercy's website is WEAREMRCI.org. If you take the .org off, you'll find us on every social media channel.
All right. And then the Intimate Oasis, what's the website address there?
IntimateOasis.love, and that's also our Instagram handle as well.
And I don't know how you got that love. I saw that and was like, whoa. Okay, that's crazy. All right. And now I'm trying to figure out Pastor G. Love. I'm like, oh my, I got to figure that out. I'm like, see, because you're creative, you're out of the box. I'm like, oh my
You know,
God.
honestly, that was one of those ones where .com was taken. I didn't like .net. I didn't want .org. And I
No.
saw love and I was like, you know what? I will spread love with this business at every single turn. And it just stuck.
And I gotta end. I have to end with I'm loving that. Okay, so take the dot love and I'm just gonna say I love it. Okay, I love it. I love it. Well, Sister Cheatham, we could talk forever, and you know that, and I guess we've
Yes,
had some of those forever chats. But I just want to thank you for taking this time and being patient with the technology and me moving around and
absolutely.
switching devices and all that kind of good stuff. You got an event that's happening, I guess, today or this
Yes,
weekend or
so we
something.
have Summit Up. Summit Up is our annual Recovery Month event. Look at me for getting
Hmm.
that shameless plug. So, Recovery Month is every September, and it's actually international now. So,
Hmm.
it is across the globe. People are celebrating recovery, celebrating wellness, and people choosing to heal. And so,
Hmm.
we wanted to host a space where we can for 3 days, submerge people into what we do. So we have guest speakers and things of that nature, but almost all of the workshops and presentations and things of that nature are actually internal to Mercy, and they
Hmm.
reflect our programming. Our programming is based on the 9 dimensions of recovery and wellness. And these are 9 areas in our lives that we know that if we are not well in them, we need to recover so that we can be well.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so it is, like I said, it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today we'll be getting started here shortly. We have day and evening sessions and events. This year, we are introducing 2 new workshops that I'm very excited for: Crafting My Cope and
Hmm.
Let's Chill. So, Crafting My Cope is all about taking our pain and frustration and making something beautiful out of it, just as I did with my pain and creating Mercy. And so we have paint in different mediums for people and if they want, we even have things for people to break, to smash, and
Hmm.
then they can take
Wow.
that and create something. with what we
Wow.
have or what they bring to the table. And then they leave with something beautiful to, hopefully inspire them, and remind them that pain doesn't last always. To, shout out to
Mm-hmm.
my church roots. And
Mm-hmm.
then our other one is Less Chill. That is a collective rest event. We really just wanted to create a space for people to rest. So we
Okay.
have some guided meditation. We have some story time. And then we got sleeping bags and blankets, and we going to take a nap. It's literally that
Right.
simple.
Okay.
We're going to rest.
All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm never against that. I can always do that. And so where is all this happening at these 3 days?
So we are at the illustrious Martin University for these 3 days. Yes, yes, yes. This is our second year here at Martin, and we are so grateful to Martin and you all just honestly welcoming us with open arms. Looking forward to continuing to grow. Already looking forward to next year, even though this year isn't over, because I just want to make it bigger and better every single year. Um, the only thing that won't happen at Martin this year will be the Let's Chill event. We were
Okay.
requested to do that specifically at MLK Center and with some of the young
Hmm.
people that we had the pleasure of connecting with there. So we're very, very excited for this year's event for sure.
You know what? At the M of MLK is the same as the M for Martin University, so I don't think we have a problem with y'all being at another Martin. Okay, as long as long as y'all making it, as long as the other M is making it happen. Okay, so
That's it. That's
anyway,
it.
so we want to invite everybody. We want to invite everyone. If you're on this call, if you're on this I don't even know what you call this live webinar, if that's what you want to call it, but live broadcast, and we're on 12 different channels right now. I don't know if you knew that, Natasha.
Awesome.
We're on
I
12 different
didn't.
social media
Wow.
channels. We're on like 2 or 3 YouTube channels. We're on
That's
Periscope. We're on
amazing.
Facebook channels, groups. We're all over the place. So if you're watching this right now, the first thing I want you to do is to hit that share button and share the recorded, because we won't be live here in a few minutes, but you can share this broadcast with someone. You can share the event with someone. Let them know this is going on
Absolutely.
right now. This is, one of the things that we don't do enough of is we don't share. We
Yeah,
consume, but we don't share. And so hit that share
absolutely.
button. You can like the channel. You can do all of that. You can go to Martin and follow us and all of that. But more than anything, if you know somebody, or if you're that somebody that needs to heal, or that needs to hit that pause button, as she has said, then here is an opportunity. That means that you got to this broadcast and it wasn't a mistake. That means you got here and
Hmm.
this information was designed for you, or for you to share it with somebody that you know who needs it. So I'm going to challenge you right now as we head out of this broadcast, and as we thank Sister Cheetah for coming on and sharing all of the innovative and creative things she's doing. She's also an example of what one person can do to turn around and to free, right? To free her own people from bondage. All right? And so we appreciate you. Let's see, you're over here. No, you're over there. We
Yep.
appreciate you. We thank you. We encourage you. We applaud you. And we say, if there's any time you need anything else, you holler at us at Martin University, where we are future focused at Martin University. All right, y'all? This is Pastor G. I'm
Absolutely.
going to let her go. We'll see y'all again next Friday for Let's Talk Live with Martin U. www.martin.edu. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.